What if you only got 2% on your money? Could you still retire successfully? So I'm sitting in the dental chair, get my that crown had come off, and I'm getting my this afternoon. I'm getting my crown replaced, and I was thinking about a guy I was working with the other day. Was it yesterday? I can't remember. But anyway, a guy I was working with, and I kept telling him, dude, when you've won the game, stop playing because he's gonna be fine financially. There's basically nothing he can do because he's got a big fat pension. He's gonna be fine. Then I just started curbing. I said, what if you only got 2% of your money and you're pulling, 5,000 a year out? I'll show you what I'm talking about here in just a second. But I mean, would you be okay for a financial planning perspective, from a retirement income perspective? Why do we got to make it so complex? I think one of the reasons we make it so complex is everyone's thinking there's going to be this huge amount of inflation, maybe, that your spending goes up with each and every year, maybe. But I just got to think about it. So let me just spreadsheet. So let's take a look here. So here I got $100,000, and you're only getting 2% a year. You're taking $5,000 a year. We're not adjusting with inflation. We'll go back to that in just a second. Not sure you need to, but let's just talk about that here in just a second. All right. So basically, you got $100,000. You're getting 2%. Right now, 30-year Treasuries are paying 30-year Treasuries are paying 1.4. 30-year Treasuries paying 1.5. Oh, it's up pretty good. So 30-year Treasuries are paying 1.5. So 2% isn't that far off. But either way, you're still eating your principal 3% a year. All right. So we're not adjusting this inflation. That's fine. But because we're just saying, what if I just took 5,000 a year out? How long would my money last? Quite a simple calculation, very infantile to draw. Even I can do it. Your money would last 26 years. What's the likelihood of you living 26 years in retirement? Let's go and look at that. So bear with me just a second. So if we go to dinkytown.net, which is CCH website, they actually changed it from dinkytown.net, but still it's good. We got a life expectancy calendar or calculator. We're going to say we have Josh. We're going to say he's 65 years old. He's 5'10", weighs $175, doesn't smoke. He's male. He doesn't drink. No accidents or violations in the past 3 years. No normal blood pressure. Checks regularly. Family history. 2 or more. It doesn't not yet. Yeah, so just say that. So his life expectancy is only 82.3 years. That's 17 and a half years, basically. Isn't that interesting? What if he was female? 85 years. That's 20 years. So someone who's 65 today has a life expectancy of 20 years. Now we go to, I think Kitts has had this one. He said if Fred and Ethel were 63 and 62 comparatively, if they would have they would have how much of a probability of living for 26 years would be both have an 8% probability of living until 26 years. And the reason I use 26 years is because that's when the money ran out. Only had an 8% probability. Now, it doesn't go into deep amount like what we just did about health. 33% probability of Ethel living until she's 88, 26 years from now. And a 17%, 21% chance of Fred living. So both would, either would have a 50% chance of living until then, but in terms of individuals, not much. So one of them will probably live until they're 26, but that's only 50% chance. Not even probably. There's a 50% chance one will live until they're for 26 years, and a 50% chance they'll both be dead. The both alive, there's only a 8% chance they'll both be alive. That makes sense. But there's a 33% chance Ethel will be alive and a 21% chance that Fred will be. Not very good odds, actually. Not very good odds at all. So their money's going to run out in 26 years, but they'll probably be dead. There's a good chance they'll both be dead. So if we do 4,000 a year or 4,500, and we say, okay, 4,500. Now, again, we're not adjusting for inflation. We'll change that over. Well, that lasts until we're 30 years old, and we runs out in our 30 years. Now, if we have an inflation at let's do inflation. Bear in mind, pause real quick. So if you have inflation at 2%, I'm just using 2% inflation. Basically, inflation is taking away our growth. You can see here this portfolio, we're taking 4,500 out, will still last till we're 23. All right, so we go back to the life expectancy calculator, and we're going to say, Josh, I mean, that's, again, is a decent probability I'll be dead by the time I'm by 23 years old from now, which would be 80. This is for Charlotte. This is for me. 23, I'll be 88. It's a good chance I'll be dead. You know, life expectancy, that means average. That means half the people die before, half the people die after. But still, not a very good not a very high likelihood that I'll die, that I'll survive until then anyway. But what if we say I'm heavier? We'll say I'm 210, right? Well, let's just use that for example. What does this do? That drop it? There we go. Did I not drop it? Guess that didn't drop it. Okay, that's where it didn't drop it all. Let's say high blood pressure. Look at that, high blood pressure control medication, high blood pressure non-control. Whoa. So it's like the weight doesn't matter. That's kind of weird to me. Family history will say parents die good health. Both parents live to age 70. And look at that, man. Anyway, so just, again, not a huge likelihood that I'm going to die, man. Let's say 250, see if that changes anything. Okay, there we go. So the heavier you are there, okay. Let's say 125. Yeah, it's weird. 125, that's sickly. And 175. All right, so you can see there, not very high probability that we're going to be around that long. And if we're not around that long, it's kind of like, why take the risk? So we'll put this at 5,000. And that money will run out in 21 years. But even if at 5,000 a year, adjusted for inflation, I'm only getting 2% a year in my portfolio. I mean, my portfolio will last. 2% is because it's fixed. That's what I'm saying. So this could be linear. You say, look, it's going to be a linear portfolio. I'm getting 2%. That's it. So let's say 54. We're going to spend 5,000 a year until we're dead. Not until we're dead, for the first 10 years. Then we're going to spend 4,000 a year thereafter. So we're going to change this to go. We're going to make this 4,000, but it'll be adjusted for make it $5,000. So we'll say basically went down at the beginning. So basically 5,000. We're going to times it by 2% a year for inflation. Then we're going to say 5,000 again in 10 years, and that money runs out in year 23. All right, then in 20 years, we're going to say 5,000 again. So basically what we're doing is reducing our expenditures 24. So that doesn't do much. But what if we did 4,500? And we're going to come back here, 4,500. I bet our money's going to last. Yep, look at that. And then 4,500 a year. Basically what we're doing is saying as we get older, we're going to spend less. And look at that. Yeah, and that lasts until we're 27. To 27 years in retirement. The point about that, hell, we can do 1.03. What if we do 1.03% rate of return? Just buy some, good old-fashioned corporate bonds, man. Yeah, at 4,500, let's do 5,000. Actually, what is our corporate bonds doing? Hold on a second. Corporate bonds aren't paying 3, so let's go to 1.025. That's 2.5. There we go. We'll make that like that, and we'll just say that. We'll just do it the whole way through. I guess I should just done like that. Oops, 1 second. Let's do blink. All right. So that if you're getting 2.5% and with a 2% inflation, as long as it doesn't fluctuate at all, that 5,000 a year, and you drop it every 10 years by. Let's see, you gotta go back here at 5,000. Blink. You gotta go back here at 5,000. Blink. So you drop it every 10 years. You're dropping it by 1,000. That money lasts 26 years, man. Again, we're back to 26 years. That's at 1.025, which is 2.5%. That's nothing fancy. Anyway. It's interesting. So we start at 5,000. We go from 5,005. We go 5,000. to down $5,800. We're going 858 divided by 5858. That is a 14% decline in spending power. The 14% decline, that's exactly what BLS and SEC or the SEC, the numbers show about. Anyway, I'll go into that here in just a little bit, but man, just when it comes to retirement planning, if you won the game, stop playing. Why take on the risk? Now there might be a reason to take the risk. There might. Maybe you want to leave more to charity. Maybe you want to spend more. I don't know, but I'm just showing it right here. It just hit me. It's like, why go out? I mean, look, I'm stocks, but I'm still in the accumulation phase. Something to think about. I don't have the answer for you, but if you can get 2.5 to 3% bonds, I just showed you right there. You could take freaking 5% a year out as long as you reduce your expenditures just for inflation at 2% a year, and not have to worry about hardly ever running out of money. Yeah, I mean, look, you might in your late 20s, in your latter part of your retirement, sure, absolutely, there could be a chance you run out of money, but you probably won't be around. That's just something to think about. I'd love to hear your comments. See you.